Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a Skyrim news update. In yesterday's video, we discussed the launch of Skyrim's Creation Club, and during that video, we learned that Skyrim will be receiving an all-new survival mode through the Creation Club. It's currently available on Steam for beta testing. You can simply opt in, and PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners will be able to experience this early next month. Also, both PC and console players will get survival mode free for 1 week when it launches. Afterwards, you're gonna have to buy it, and we'll get into pricing after I give you guys all the information on this survival mode. So the first picture we see on the Bethesda.net article, which I will have linked in the description down below, is the province of Skyrim, and we can see different climate levels, whether it's a cold region, a warm region, where campfires are located, where the giants campfires are located, cooking areas, inns to sleep in, where it's freezing cold. So I have to say I do like how the map in general has changed, and you have to be wary of where you're exploring and for how long. But now let's get into the gameplay features, starting off with hunger. Over time, you will become hungry, which will impact your overall stamina, as well as your ability to wield most weapons. As you become hungrier, your total available stamina will decrease, represented by a dark region in the stamina bar. Eat food to restore your hunger. If you eat enough, you will receive the well-fed bonus. Cooked food restores more hunger than uncooked food. If you eat raw meat, you may contract food poisoning, which can prevent you from receiving health benefits from food until the effect wears off. Hot soups can now be cooked by using fire salts, which restore your cold and also grants a bonus to your warmth rating. So pretty much hunger works the same way as it does in Fallout 4. It impacts your stamina, but also in this mode here, it impacts how you wield weapons. So we can see in the next picture underneath hunger, it says for the famished status effect that your total stamina is reduced, attacks with weapons are 40% slower, and you are 70% less effective when using shields and sneaking. So it is pretty punishing if you end up hungry. Moving on to fatigue, even the most stalwart adventurers will need rest from time to time. Fatigue decreases your total available magicka, represented by a dark region inside the magicka bar. As you become more fatigued, the effectiveness of potions will also begin to decline, and your ability to recover magicka and stamina will begin to suffer. You will need to periodically sleep in a bed in order to restore your fatigue. In survival, the well-rested bonus is no longer granted automatically after sleeping. If you sleep outside, you will not be able to get a restful night's sleep, waking up drained at best. If you sleep in a bed indoors, you will receive the well-rested bonus. So fatigue impacts your magicka bar and then eventually starts to damage your stamina as well. Also, in order to fix that entirely, you can't really sleep inside. You have to find one of the inns, which is listed on the brand new map. Once again, pretty similar to Fallout 4, but what's not similar to Fallout 4 is the new cold feature. The frigid chill of Skyrim is now a formidable foe unto itself. Traveling in snowy or rainy areas will increase your cold. Cold decreases your total available health, represented as a dark region inside the health bar. As you become colder, your movement speed and ability to pick locks and pick pockets will begin to suffer. If you reach the highest level of cold, your health will be reduced to 0 and you will die from exposure to the elements. You can warm up by standing near a fire, eating hot soup, or moving to a warmer location. A sun or snowflake icon will appear near the compass to note whether you are currently getting warmer or colder. So what cold is sort of serving as, since we've been comparing it to Fallout 4's survival mode and Fallout 4 in general, is radiation. So it naturally goes into your health bar and starts shortening it more and more until you die. Except this time around, the way you fix that is simply by standing next to a fire, and it brings the world itself around you to life and makes just exploration potentially dangerous if you're in the wrong area. Bethesda also follows up this post about cold with a picture, and we can see what happens when you become cold in game. It starts talking a little bit about warmth, which Bethesda describes as the higher your warmth rating, the more slowly you feel the effects of cold environment. Most clothing and armor provide warmth displayed on the item's description. Some armor is exceptionally warm, while others are ill-suited to protect their wearer from harsh climates. You can also temporarily increase your warmth rating by eating hot soup or holding a torch. So torches are now more useful. Wearing different types of clothing in different areas is more useful, which is almost like a Breath of the Wild-esque mechanic, and I have to say I do like that a lot. Freezing water. Taking a swim in an ice-cold river can make for a quick death. If you swim in a freezing area, you will immediately become colder and begin taking health damage. Exit the water as soon as possible in order to begin warming up and stop the loss of health. Using a Flame Cloak spell or the Dunmer Ancestor's Wrath ability can make you temporarily immune to the effects of freezing water. So swimming is dangerous, much like Fallout 4 originally, where you would just get loaded up with rads as soon as you started swimming. Once again, kind of the same thing here, except this time you can ward it off with a spell. As expected, fast travel is disabled. If you wish to go somewhere, you must do so on foot or by horseback. You can also take a carriage or boat to your destination, but note that you may arrive hungry, cold, and in need of rest after a long journey. So I really like one thing about Skyrim, and it is its world interconnectivity. At every major city, there is a horse and carriage that you can use to get to different regions of the world. There are many signs around the world that lead you down roads on where you need to go. Plus, with the horseback, I don't think having a disabled fast travel in this game is too bad. You also no longer regenerate health. You must use restorative spells, food, and potions to replenish your health as expected. Leveling up. To level up, you must now sleep in a bed. You may still pick your perk points later once they have been granted after sleeping. So not only is sleeping valuable when it comes to fixing your fatigue, but also with leveling up. Carry weight. Your carry weight has been significantly reduced. Becoming over-encumbered also quickly drains your stamina and causes you to become fatigued much faster. Arrows and lockpicks now have weight. So it's not one of those situations where you can fight off the carry weight and just walk your way to a town nearby, drop off some stuff, maybe sell it. No, because now you become fatigued much faster, so you really have to manage your inventory. Also, with the weight of arrows and lockpicks, I was thinking as I was reading this article the whole time that, you know what, I'd say an archer build would be probably the best for this type of playthrough. But now with arrow weight, it does all of a sudden become a much different story. And lockpicks are something that come in high quantity in Skyrim, so now you can't just pick up every single one you see. Disease. Creatures across the land now carry threatening new diseases, and previous diseases are now even more debilitating. Eating uncooked meat can now cause food poisoning. If you fail to cure a disease, it may progress into a more serious version over time, such as afflictions. Time spent unwell puts you at risk of contracting an affliction, which causes effects that can linger longer after you have improved your condition. Afflictions will naturally wear off or can be cured like other diseases. Some afflictions include weakened, you are less effective at using melee weapons and blocking damage with your shield. Addled, all enchantments and spells cast are less effective. And frostbitten, you are less effective at picking locks, picking pockets, and doing damage with a bow. So you have to cook that food, you have to make sure that you don't get too close to certain types of creatures, and you have to be wary of the afflictions that some of these can develop into. But usually, shrines can get rid of diseases. Now, no longer do shrines cure diseases for free. You must make a gold offering in order to receive the shrine's benefits. Shrines you craft in a house you have built can be used for free. So now we can see that the Hearthfire DLC has become a little bit more valuable thanks to this mode. Nearing the end here, perks and standing stones have also been adjusted. The extra pockets perk and the steed stone now grant 50 extra carry weight instead of 100. This is naturally to adjust for the reduced carry weight that was stated earlier. And last but certainly not least, vampires and werewolves have also received adjustments. Both vampires and werewolves can restore their hunger by feeding on their victims. While transformed into a werewolf or vampire lord, you will become colder much slower than normal. So if you're in a really dangerous area, it's a very cold climate here, and you don't have the right food or the right potions to get out of here alive, and your last resort is to transform into a werewolf, you can do so and slow the cold much more, maybe because of your little fur on you or something like that. Now, I know the first question everyone's asking, is this worth it compared to Frostfall? Now, I know PC players will immediately compare this to Frostfall. It's the same thing pretty much, except Frostfall is free. Bethesda is selling this survival mode to fans of the Creation Club. We talked about Frostfall yesterday. It includes things like shelter, climates of Tamriel, wet and cold. You need to wear certain clothing to fight off different types of climates. You have to eat food, werewolf and vampire mods, stuff along those lines, campfires. So if you're a PC player interested in this survival mode, try Frostfall out. How much is this though? Well, I thought to myself, I recall seeing a survival mode during the Creation Club trailer. So I looked it up and lo and behold, there it is for 500 credits. So the lowest price you can buy this for is $17 $7.50 to have the proper amount of credits to afford what Bethesda is offering here. And I don't want to assume here, but I'm imagining maybe with those leftover credits you can buy some of the stuff we talked about yesterday, like that sword or the Knights of the Nine armor, which may make it worth your money overall. Because not only are you getting a fundamental gameplay change, you're also going to be receiving new armor or weapons, potentially depending on the price and credits. Now, there is a pro and con to this mode. The pro here is that Bethesda is actually making smart use of the Creation Club here and bringing something that console users don't have. So Xbox One and PS4 users are actually going to have a brand new way to play Skyrim. The con to this I saw instantly was that there are a lot of similarities to Fallout 4 survival mode, which all of us received in a free update. I don't see why Bethesda couldn't have done the same thing. I'm sure more people would have came back to Skyrim if this were free. I'm not saying that as an entitled consumer, but I don't see why the same type of survival mode was free for one area, but on the other side of things, we're charging what is $7.50 at minimum for. I'm not overly angry at this one, to be honest with you, simply because I actually see a lot of console players potentially being happy with this one, considering that it is something that they couldn't experience beforehand and now they can. It is not confirmed, but I believe Chesko, the same person who made Frostfall, is actually the person who helped create the brand new Skyrim survival mode for the Creation Club. So if it's coming from him, then you're more than likely receiving the same thing. As someone who plays BGS games on the PC exclusively, I scoff at this because this same thing is going to be available for players on the PC, and anyone who owns a PC should not touch this mode at all or pay for it because you have a free alternative sitting right there. Once again, as I said in yesterday's video, Bethesda does ignore that. But on consoles, you're getting a brand new way to play, and as far as my research went, I did not see a Skyrim Special Edition survival mode on Bethesda Net. So this does mean it is new content for those on console. I'm going to be testing it out personally and seeing exactly how it compares to Frostfall. I'm looking forward to seeing what other people of the community have to say about this, and I want to hear your thoughts on this in the comments down below, so fire away everybody. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content we create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.